beauty of our sport is when you get into the competitions, there's this beautiful moment, and for me it's more just a switch off, and that's when I know I've peaked, I've got everything right, is that I don't remember the race. That's when everything just kind of becomes autonomous, and I don't think there's any real better feeling. You're on your own on the water, and you're responsible for looking after yourself. And it just happened that it coincided with the other part of my life, which was competing. And I think that's where I find it so easy to move between the classes, between disciplines, and do so many other different water sports, because actually it is about, you know, that bit of escape from reality and being able to do something that not a lot of people can do. I think I was about 9 years old when I kind of really got the bug with my dad getting me into it. And then actually one of the old boys at the sailing club convinced him to take me to a competition, and I think I was probably, I don't know, 11 or 12, and I was already pretty competitive with my brother. You know, you can't really let your younger brother win anything, so and that kind of just spilled from there, and we ended up competing more and more. I enjoyed it a lot, but it was really tough. You know, we had Nick Dempsey, who was just dominant and had been dominant for so many years, and catching him was just impossible, you know. So kitesurfing for me kind of really started in a really turbulent time of everything going on. It was, windsurfing had been temporarily kicked out of the Olympics in 2012, and kitesurfing had replaced it. And so we all kind of frantically, you know, me, Tom, Sam, Izzy, Sophie, that kind of whole generation of windsurfers frantically learned how to kite. I mean, me and Tom lived in our vans on Poole Harbour. You know, that was our summer. You know, it was an amazing summer of learning to kite surf, and I think all of us fell completely and utterly in love with kiting. And at the end of the summer, when the Olympic decision was revoked and windsurfing was put back in, there was definitely some sadness, and I think more so from me, where I was in love with kiting at that point. And so it was kind of a lot of being in the right place at the right time, and leading on to more and more competition, and then yeah, we started racing professionally. So my journey to the Olympics has definitely not been the smoothest one. I think obviously as soon as the sport became Olympic, that was the goal, that was the dream, and that's what I was pushing. Yeah, it really stumped me. You know, I just walked out of incredible success from the test event, walked into an event which I should have easily been on the podium, if not testing for the win, and I didn't manage to put myself up after that. That's the nature of sport, and that's the nature of all of this. Is if as soon as you let your foot off the gas, you're vulnerable. Everyone around me told me it was a blessing in disguise, and unfortunately now I have to eat my own words and kind of agree with them. But it just refocused us. It refocused us. I got a lot fitter. We spent the winter training really hard, knowing that this was the last chance. Luckily, after the first day, I sorted myself out, and yeah, it was pretty emotional event, and it was great to finish it. And then obviously from there on, it's kind of spiraled. A wonderful, not very long until the Olympics, and so everything's kind of just been full push since then. So Blue Fox boards really kind of started during COVID, actually. It's incredibly humbling having, I think at the Games we'll have almost half the female fleet on our boards, and I think a quarter of the male fleet on our boards. And I don't think we've had a Blue Fox off the podium, or we've always had a Blue Fox on the podium for the last 3 years, and so it's pretty cool. And I think it's a side that I'm so grateful for, that I had something else to be doing during this Olympic campaign. You've got to be incredibly fit, especially in kite surfing, where, you know, our races are super short, and so it's super high intensity. You've got to be very strong for it, and also very robust, because our crashes are huge. But then you've got this huge mental, tactical game of playing chess that's going on in the background, of making sure that you're in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, and then kind of this other side, which actually, if your gear's slow, then you're not going anywhere. And so you're constantly playing this balancing act, and we play the balancing act throughout the whole 4-year cycle. For 2 weeks a year, you have 20 athletes who are on their absolute top level in each class. And so that kind of culmination of everything means that the Olympics really is the pinnacle of our sport. And I think there's something quite cool about that. I think every athlete goes through pretty hard times. I don't think you'll see any Olympic story or any athletic story that's easy, that doesn't have ups and downs. I think particularly mine, the last 3 years has probably been bit more extreme than definitely I would want it to, and than the norm. I think what kept me going was that I knew I was good enough to make it in the end, and I knew that giving up wasn't really an option for me. I think giving up and walking away from this at that point, I put too much into it, and so it's almost like you're at a casino. You just keep doubling down, and at some point you'll come back.